Hey guys, so welcome back to Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward. Let's carry on where we left off. Actually, no, we can't, because we got betrayed by a bloody Egyptian princess slash queen, Alice, who was suffering at the hands of Radical Six, and I saved her life, but no, she has to come and betray us at the last second and get me killed. The flowchart obviously shows, obviously now, shows that the betrayal is the correct pathway, as you can see, because ally is always on the left and betrayal's on the right. I only realized this after I came back to the flowchart afterwards, so thankfully I didn't realize it. But I'm sure quite a lot of people did, as you mentioned in the comments, so sucks for them, unfortunately. But yeah, luckily I'm just that unobservant. Anyway. No, we're not going to Clover Game Over, thank you very much. We're going to betray Alice this time. And watch, she's going to complain. She's going to be like, I knew it. You knew you were going to betray me. That's why I chose betray. Anyway, sorry. We're ranting and we haven't even started. Alright, Luna. Sorry, but we have to go against your wishes. And that means stabbing Alice right in the heart. It's not even stabbing in the back right now.
Late to say this, but you know Alice is still in the infirmary.
Yeah. So what? I'm betraying her ass. Gosh. Like I said, like, every other time she just hasn't lived long enough for her to display her menacing traits. Luna and I stepped out of the AB room.
Why?
Because I don't want to die. That's why.
What happened to... It's not fair to betray someone who isn't voting.
Let's just say, I had a change of heart. After a change in flow.
I thought...
There was nothing I could think of to say. Even I didn't really understand why I'd picked betray instead. It had almost felt unconscious. Like some other part of my mind was making the decision. Perhaps I'd been possessed by some sort of evil spirit that had moved my finger to the betray button against my will? Yeah, a likely story. No one's gonna believe that. Right, well, we should go see the results.
Really? We already know what they are. It's just simple math.
Well, let's just wait and see, okay, Luna? The look in her eyes was more painful than any punch I'd ever taken. I turned away and almost ran toward the projector. Anything to get away from those eyes. Look, I'd rather see the pain in your eyes than never see your eyes ever again because I'm dead.
Ambidex Game will now be displayed. Please direct your attention to the results screen.
Well, listen to the instructions, Luna, and you'll see why. Now watch as she somehow allies this time. Betray. This is honestly the most miserable AB game right here. Betray. Well, congratulations everyone, no progress was made.
Points have been assigned or subtracted accordingly.
Now give me your damn story, Alice.
Please check your bracelet to see your updated bracelet points.
She's still not here. She's just chilling in the room, I guess. What? It wasn't possible. I blinked, rubbed my eyes, and looked again. No. How can Alice's vote be betray? That's not possible! There she is. God, did you have to go with the scare cord? Alice? She was standing inside the second room from the left. The room that should have been empty. But why is she just, like, all zombie-like? And I'm guessing the glow's from the light, but who knows? It's definitely not her radiating beauty. Why? My mind was still reeling. Where'd she come from? As I was trying to form a sentence, she began to move towards us. It's all creepy, jeez. From around me, I heard a chorus of muted gasps. It seemed we were united in our surprise and confusion. Alice drew to a stop in front of me and glanced up at the display. Lucky, she's gone and made a scene like this because no one's arguing over the betrayals.
Thought you'd get an easy couple points, huh?
No, I thought I'd save my own ass, you jackass.
Not so easy when you have to look your victim in the eye, is it? Coward.
Fuck off. Actually, get out of town. Me? A coward? You've got some balls saying that to me after you picked betray. Why are you even here?
Well, you gave me the antivirus, didn't you? Tenmyoji told me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean that from the bottom of my heart, honestly.
Next time I'll shove it up your ass.
But you should still be under the effects of the anesthetic.
Yes, well, I still am.
She's
A bit.
special.
I have a throbbing headache, and I can barely stand. It's horrible. I'm more resistant to anesthetics than most people.
Oh, boo-hoo, you got a bloody headache. Well, okay, I had poison coursing through my damn veins, alright? Man, I'm sorry, I've just wrapped up my sass. It's just rubbed off with me. I'll try and calm down now. I'm alive. That's what matters.
A result of my training. I have a feeling Zero Senior knew that. They gave me way more than the standard dose of that gas when they kidnapped me. In any event, a few minutes ago I woke up in the infirmary. Tenmyoji explained what was going on, and I got here as fast as I could.
So you showed up right after we'd gone into the AB room? You had literally 10 seconds. You were set to choose Betray. I suppose you didn't have anyone to discuss it with, so...
Yes. Right in the nick of time, too. About 10 seconds before the deadline, as I recall.
If only the doors opened a bit slower.
You did that just so you could betray us?
Right. What? Don't I get to do that?
Yeah, you don't get to do that after I saved your life.
I mean, it turned out to be the right thing to do, didn't it?
No, I did the right thing here.
You two chose Betray. If I'd stayed back there, I'd have lost 2 points.
So you're saying it was self-defense?
Damn, I'd love to see her reaction in the other flow where she chooses Betray to protect herself. Where, actually, she ends up killing me instead.
Yes.
You're full of shit. Self-defense my ass. You chose Betray because you wanted out. You had 6 BP. If I'd picked Ally, you would have had 9. That's what you were trying to do, right?
So what if I was?
Yeah, see? No remorse. Are you serious? You would have killed me! Look, I only have 1 BP! You were this close to murdering me! Just admit it. You were planning to kill me so you could escape.
Don't be stupid. I knew you'd choose Betray. There was...
What, you been hopping flows too? Tell me the truth!
That is the truth. Why am I the only one getting the 3rd degree?
Oh, you deserve it, you blue-eyed lady.
Look at those results. 2 other people just tried to kill someone.
Fine, Dio.
Yes.
Yeah, well, they knew what they were getting into, okay? I didn't realize you'd be waking up from your damn bed.
If Dio had chosen Ally, Phi would have killed Tenmyoji. And if she'd chosen Ally, Dio would have killed her.
I don't want to be rude, but it looks like Clover and Kay tried to trick one another.
Exactly, we're all a bunch of scumbags here, so... Some more than others, though.
Not that it seems to have worked. If either one had chosen Ally, the other one would have 9 BP right now.
Whew, this is already intense, and it's only like, what, 10 minutes in? Whew. Now everyone's just hanging their heads in shame. I turned to look at the results again. Before, I'd only been looking at my own. I hadn't realized that there was only one word, all across the roster. Betray. Roster's a bit of a strange word. I would have said table, but, you know, Sigma's honestly in a huff, and, you know, he's allowed to be. Whatever trust we'd managed to build had fallen apart. Everyone was suspicious of everyone else. Had it been the bombs? Or had it been something else? I'll admit, though, like, this flow is pretty... I'm really invested in this flow, just because, oh, the emotions I'm feeling. Like, I actually feel mad that Alice betrayed me. And, you know, it's good. I like feeling emotions with the game, whether it's happiness, like, oh, like, it's good, Luna's alive, whatever, or anger, like, Alice betrayed me, that son of a, you know? And that's what I like about story games, just invoking emotions within me. So that's why I'm really enjoying this flow. Whatever the reason, if it kept up, we'd never manage to escape. We'd be trapped in a cycle of 0-point rounds for the rest of our lives. Something had to be done. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Alright, guys. Pay attention. You've probably already figured this out, but we can't keep going like this. If we don't start being a little more trusting, we're never going to get out of here. We need to work together. I might as well have been talking to a wall. Oh god.
My apologies, Sigma. But I need to think on something for a bit.
Like what?
I would appreciate being left alone.
Okay. Are you saying his name, or are you saying okay?
I'll be leaving too. Things are getting a little too intense here for my delicate constitution.
Well, that's one... Well, that's not one word for it. That's 2 words for it.
Sorry.
Dio?
Well, in that case...
At 2-5?
Yeah, sorry.
Without another word, she turned and left the warehouse. Dio and Kay quickly followed suit.
See? There's your answer. In the end, everyone's just thinking about themselves.
Yeah, clearly. It's only, exclusive to this flow, it feels like.
So I would appreciate it if you could not treat me like I'm the only villain here.
No one else tried to kill me, so you are the only villain in my eyes, Alice. Thank you very much. That's twice you've tried to betray me.
Come on, Clover. Let's go.
Yeah, take your pink-haired, happy-go-lucky pun-making machine with you.
Hold on! I'm coming! Are you feeling okay?
Whew, we're all just bitter.
I was really worried, you know?
Oh yeah, we're so worried about Alice. I watched them walk away, Clover practically jumping with delight to have Alice back. Yeah, you're welcome. I should have broke the damn vial, like I said. Should have just dropped it and, whoops, accidentally stomped on it, guys. My bad. But we'll save Quark. Before long, they reached the yellow door and disappeared beyond it. Yeah, am I not justified in being angry? I feel like I'm allowed to be angry. But let me know. You probably, maybe you guys weren't as angry as I am, but poof.
Everyone's gone.
Yep. You aren't going to leave too?
No,
Are you sure? I chose betray.
I know. But I still believe in you, Sigma.
Thanks, Luna.
I think your hand must have just slipped or something.
This strange spirit possessed me, and my middle finger just went towards the betray button.
Right?
My chest hurt, and when I blinked I felt something hot and wet prick the corners of my eyes. Luna, I bit my lip. Before I could think of anything to say, the metallic rumble of the doors closing echoed through the warehouse.
The Ambidex gates have closed.
Bit late there, aren't you?
Round 3 of the Ambidex game will be the star
I
round.
can just imagine if anyone's observing us right now, they're just writing in their clipboards, just going, oh yeah, these guys bloody don't trust anyone, yeah. Great reality TV here.
Star keys are required to open the gates. There is no set limit on usage of the star keys.
Lucky, because at this rate, we're going to be here forever.
The Ambidex gates can be opened as many times as the players wish to open them.
As many times as we want, huh?
Yes, as long as we have the star keys. That means we can keep playing the AB game over and over, too. Sigma, could you show me your bracelet?
Why?
Do you remember what Zero Jr. said?
Different colors every time.
As soon as the gates close, your colors get all shuffled up automatically. The pair and solo assignments hop around a bit too.
You could just see, like, whoever voiced Zero Jr. here is having so much fun. Yeah, I remember. Let me see her. I'm a cyan pair. What about you?
I'm a magenta pair.
I wonder what the others are.
They could be anything, I suppose. We won't know until we have a look.
We've got about 80 minutes until the next set of chromatic doors open. So, what should we do now?
Everyone else has gone off on their own.
Yeah, physically and emotionally. I really don't like how this is going. It won't matter how many times we repeat the AB game if nobody trusts anybody else. We'll never be able to get out of here.
Maybe it would help if we all had a common goal. Something to unite our hearts and minds.
What is that? Yeah, but we've already got something like that. We all want to get out of here. That seems like a pretty clear goal to me. But everybody chose betray. Including me.
Well, what if we have an enemy?
An enemy? I vote Alice.
Yes, a common foe. Like the person who set the bombs, for instance.
After coming back from the lab, I'd told her about the bomb while she gave Alice and Quark the Excelsior. Right, that's a good idea. If we can point out someone who's definitely not trustworthy, that starts eliminating options. Yeah, that might work. If we can figure out which one of us planted those bombs, then everyone else would work together against them.
Right.
But How do we figure out who it is?
Well, do you have any clues?
Not to mention we can't disarm them because we don't have that thing from the control room. Clues, huh? Don't give me those eyes, I can't concentrate, I just feel relaxed. I need to be tense, I need to be trying to figure out things. Right, of course. That's right! The memory card! I pulled it out of my pocket and held it toward her.
What's this?
I told you, a memory card. It was under the bomb we found in the lab. I think whoever set the bomb dropped it.
Really?
Whether it's by accident or intentional. Yeah, I don't know what's on it though. We couldn't find any kind of memory card reader.
Oh, I guess we can't really use it then. Oh, wait a second.
Yeah, you remember?
You know what? I think I might have seen something.
Good. Huh?
Yes, I remember. The infirmary. I saw it when I was searching the infirmary with Dio and Quark.
Exactly, let's go.
There was a memory card just like that one.
Then? I like this little animation.
Yes, I think we can see what's on it. The computer there should be able to read it.
Okay, let's go. What's on this thing? Something relevant, I hope. Luna and I exploded into the infirmary, nearly running into Alice, Clover, and Tenmyuji. Oh, my 3 favorite people. Quark was there as well, of course, but he was just as we'd left him, asleep on the bed.
What are you doing here?
I opened my mouth to retort, then thought better of it, yeah. Alright, we've vented enough. Let's not exasperate the problem any further. We're trying to work together. So, if I really wanted people to start trusting each other, well, real change starts at home. Good on you, Sigma. Better man than I. As quickly as I could, I explained the second bomb and the memory card, and how we'd come to the infirmary in hopes that we could discover the contents of the latter.
Okay.
Then stick it in already!
Oh, take it easy.
Go ahead.
Right. I was about to, and then you guys asking what the hell I'm doing. Just as Luna had said, there was a small slot under the screen, exactly the right size to fit a memory card. Within moments, the screen was filled with what appeared to be random letters. Is this the disarm codes? What is this? What the heck have we got here? None of it makes sense. At least from what I can tell. Just a quick examination. We've got 1, 1, 1. Do these just repeat? LED, LED, OVP, 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 RAX, 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 MTE, MTE, MTE. Huh. So it's just the same code replicating over and over again.
6 rows, 22 letters each.
It looks like the odd rows use one set of letters, and the even rows use another set.
In other words, the first 2 rows just repeat.
Yeah.
Is this some kind of code or something?
It doesn't look random to me. I think there might be a pattern. I just don't know what it is.
Was there anything else on there?
No, it doesn't look like it.
So all we get is this gibberish. Hey Alice, you haven't said anything for a while. What's up?
Does any of this look familiar to you, Clover?
What do you mean?
Have you seen something like this before? Maybe during your training?
Training?
This is...
So you do recognize it.
All right, knock it off, you two. How about you share it with the rest of the class?
I'm with Tenmyuji here. Explain now. Alice sighed and stretched her neck from side to side.
I believe this is an encoded message from a terrorist organization.
What?
They call themselves the Myrmidons.
Dio. Myrmidons. For some reason I felt like I'd heard that name before.
What are the Myrmidons?
Put simply, they're a bunch of thugs who are trying to destroy or dismantle most of human civilization.
So this thing we're looking at, you think it's theirs?
Well, they have a number of different codes, but I do think this is one of them.
Then the bomb?
It was planted by Dio.
It was said by one of the Myrmidons, wasn't it?
Probably should have kept it in your top hat rather than your pocket.
Yes. Well, I can't say for sure, of course, but it seems likely.
Damn, I have got a ton of questions for you. But let me start with this one. What the heck does that thing say? I mean, think about it. Like, could it really be that Dio was just that careless and dropped this memory card there? Or is someone trying to set him up? I don't know. Honestly, I'm just suspicious of everything. It's possible that, yeah, Dio accidentally dropped it, but someone might be trying to frame the Myrmidons here, but I do think it's Dio. Just saying.
I don't know.
Based off what I know, it's gotta be Dio's. What?
How am I supposed to decode it? I don't have the key. Without a key, it would take literally hundreds of years to decode.
What about you, Clover?
Well, if Alice doesn't know how, I sure don't.
See?
Not much we can do then. We need the cipher. We can come back to that code stuff later. I've got another question. Alice, Clover, who the hell are you? Why do you know about this code?
That's...
You told me your job was to eliminate enemies of the state or something like that. Just what the hell kind of job is that? I think it's time you told us what you do. Well, we're trying to build trust here, okay?
Sorry, but I can't.
Oh, for God's sake. Why not?
Because you might be one of them. You might be the person who set the bomb.
That's idiotic. Of course I'm not.
Really? And where's your proof?
Why would I save your life if I was a terrorist? Wouldn't I want to get rid of you and Clover?
For all I know, you're my enemy. I can't tell you anything.
I'm not your enemy. I'm your ally. I'm your friend. Okay, let's not get carried away there, Sigma. I just want all of us to get out of here. Just please tell us. Please. We need to find out who did this so we can all escape. But we have too little information. We need your help. Fine. If you won't tell us about yourself, then just tell us about the Myrmidons. What else do you know about them?
I'm sorry.
No, you aren't. Before I could blink, she leapt up and ran out of the room. Hey, wait, Alice! I took off after her.
How long are you going to keep following me?
Until you tell me, alright? Until you tell me what you know.
Then why don't you just ask Clover? You
Clover?
already know she works with me.
Why do I have to ask her, not you? What, she just... Is she allowed to say and you're not?
Then
Well,
why
yeah.
don't you...
I wanted to hear it from you.
Why?
That's a good question. Remember the crew quarters? Or this garden? We got paired up for 2 separate rounds. That means I've spent more time with you than anybody else here. Maybe that's it. I guess I'm just curious about you.
What are you talking about?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, not in that way, alright? Take it easy. I think our relationship is completely shot at this point in time. She spun around to hide it, but I caught a blush of red on her cheeks. We walked down the path to where it ended next to the pond. Oh, a little romantic walk to the scales that I never got to use. Nice. I stayed silent. Alice sat down on the bench. We gazed at the smooth surface of the pond for several long minutes before she began to speak.
You don't hate me?
Let's just tell her what she wants to hear. What? Why?
I tried to kill you.
You mean in the AB game?
Yes. I was so scared. Who wouldn't be? Kidnapped and locked up, forced to play some sort of bizarre game.
That's all well and good, but you didn't have to act all high and mighty about it, calling me an idiot for, allying with you, okay? You gotta apologize and be like, sorry, I'm just doing what I gotta do. At least be honest about it.
And then we found that bomb. I know I probably sounded calm, but as soon as we found that thing, all I wanted to do was run away from it as fast as I could.
Damn it, why is my capacity for forgiveness so damn low? I just want to forgive her right now.
Things just went downhill from there.
What do you mean?
I remember hearing that Quark had collapsed and running to the infirmary with everyone else.
Then you got sick.
When I got there, I realized I couldn't understand what anyone was saying. And everything looked... I don't know how to describe it. It was like watching a video on fast forward, only it was real. Then I started to feel like... It's hard to explain. I guess you could say I didn't feel like I was myself, and it only got worse.
That was probably the Radical 6.
Yes, I think so. I don't remember much after that. But when I woke up in the infirmary, suddenly all that fear was back. So all I could think about was getting out of this place as fast as I could.
I see.
It never even crossed my mind that it could kill you. God help me, even if it had, I don't think I would have cared.
Right, finally, some honesty. It's all I wanted, okay? But I can't let you kill me. Because I don't want to die.
See? I'm horrible. You hate me, don't you?
Look, I can hate you. But I can forgive you too, alright? You're just lucky in this flow I'm still alive.
Just do it!
What? Do what?
Kill me! Get it over with!
What the hell, Alice? I'm not going to kill you. I don't even hate you.
You're lying! I could have killed you. I would have killed you.
Blood, now I'm feeling bad. She's guilt-tripping me all over this garden. Terrible. I'm so terrible. Come on, calm down. No one's killing anyone. A single tear rolled down Alice's cheek. Then another. Then another. Leaving shining lines across her face. I would just roll on the floor laughing if this was all just an act and she still, was trying to get out of here. When I reached out, I saw her tense just slightly. Slowly, I brushed my thumb across her cheek and off, taking her tears with it.
Why are you doing this?
Because I want to get out of here, but I'm not going to be a dick about it. I'm going to help us all get out of here, not just myself.
You know, you kind of remind me of my father.
That's who you were after, right? The people who killed your dad.
Yes.
Did they have anything to do with the Myrmidons? No, it was just ancient civilization.
Will you promise not to tell Clover that I cried?
Come on.
If you keep your mouth shut, I'll tell you what you want to know.
Cross my heart and hope to die that I won't tell her that you cried.
About myself. And about the Myrmidons. Deal?
Sure. My lips are sealed.
Really?
What crying? I don't remember any crying.
Good. Alright then.
Alice took a deep breath and began. Whew. Okay, we've resolved that. I feel good about myself now. It's true. Forgiveness really just lifts your heart and just gets rid of all the grudges. Okay. Let's hear it, Alice. Come on, tell me. My father is Egyptian, but my mother is French. Oh, it's another one of these exposition dumps. Let's get comfortable. Okay, alright. Just lean back in my chair a bit. They met while my mother was in Egypt on vacation, and married shortly thereafter. When I was 3, we all moved to the US. I see. My father was a scientist, and his field was cloning. He was recruited by an American lab, which was why we moved. Both of my parents had used English around me from the time I was born, so I didn't have any problems adapting to life in the United States. So hang on, let's just unpack this really quickly. Father's Egyptian, mother French. Married. 3, you moved to the US. Nothing about her being Ice 9, at least so far. By my 9th birthday, we'd been there for 6 years. That was when it happened. In the middle of the day, my mother showed up at school. Her eyes were red and puffy, but she didn't say anything to me on the drive home. It's Lotta Hart from Phoenix Wright. When we arrived, there were several policemen there to meet us. My father had always been a very punctual man, and when dinner time came and went with no sign of him, even I began to realize something terrible had happened. It wasn't until several years later that I finally learned the truth. My father's lab had been attacked by terrorists and he had been kidnapped. And he helped the Myrmidons with their cloning, huh? For the rest of my childhood, my mother raised me by herself. I didn't realize it then, but it must have been incredibly difficult for her. As a single mother alone in a country where any relatives were a transatlantic flight away. She did her best not to let me see it, but every so often, when she thought she was alone, the mask would fall away, and every line on her face, I could see exhaustion and loneliness. As much as I missed my father, It was those moments that made me wish more than anything that he'd never been taken. Fortunately, I was an excellent student and did especially well in math. I earned a full ride scholarship straight out of high school and spent the next several years studying. After graduation, I took a job within the Department of Defense, hoping they might have the resources to help me look for my father. I was immediately assigned to the Special Office of Internal Security. Their purpose is to investigate and sometimes deal with terrorist organizations and other serious threats to the state. I could tell my mother wasn't happy about my decision, but she chose to remain silent about it. Eventually, I learned that the terrorist organization that had taken my father was none other than the Myrmidons, although at the time that name didn't mean anything to me. They were suspected of human cloning. Specifically, it was thought that they had been using cloning techniques to copy their most useful members and expand their ranks. The Myrmidons apparently believed that they could use cloning to create a new race of humans. Now, at last, I knew the reason for my father's abduction. The commander of the Myrmidons is a man named Left. We know his name and his gender, but not his appearance or his age. The Myrmidons are closely associated with a cult known as Free the Soul. We believe that Free the Soul provides their funding. But trying to pin any kind of misdeeds on the cult's leader, a man named Brother, is like trying to nail Jello to a wall. Brother is supposed to be fairly advanced in years, and rumors say he's so old he can't even get out of bed. Unfortunately, his mind seems to be as sharp as ever. At that point, I hit a wall. I knew the Myrmidons had been behind my father's kidnapping, but that was all I could learn about them. Then, one day, I got a tip that some of them were hiding in a building in the Nevada desert. I headed out immediately. On the way there, my car had some engine trouble and stalled out. And this is standard SOIS gear, is it? I was trying to decide what to do when an SUV appeared out of nowhere. I'll give you one guess who was behind the steering wheel. Yeah, we still regret that to this day, making Clover drive. Clover. That was the first time we met. There were 4 other people in the car with her, and when I asked them what they were doing, I got what was just about the last answer I'd expected. They told me they'd been locked up inside of the very building I'd been on my way to investigate, and that they were currently in pursuit of the people who had kidnapped them in the first place. My priorities shifted very quickly. After a short discussion, I convinced them to allow me to come along. My hope was to find the people they were chasing, who I was certain were Myrmidons. So you think that Santa and June, or Akane, are Myrmidons? In the end, however, we were unable to track them down. In fact, I still don't know where they might have gone. Maybe the timeline just collapsed completely and erased them from existence. But Tenmuji's got a picture, right? Eventually, I took Clover and her companions to SOIS headquarters. We decided that involving the police would only complicate things. After some questioning, it was determined that the people who had instigated this particular event were not connected to the Myrmidons. I was about to say, because when Snake was kidnapped, right, and he was in the coffin, he had those cultish robes, right? And I was thinking, actually, you know what, there could be a slight connection. We did, however, discover that the mysterious disappearance and subsequent reappearance of several children 9 years prior was connected to Free the Soul. There was also a 6th person in the SUV, although they weren't riding in it per se. Oh, I'm sure he was riding very comfortably in the trunk. A middle-aged man, who I'll just call H for now, had been bound and placed in the trunk. Why are we just calling him H? According to the other 4, he had been behind the disappearance of the children 9 years earlier. We also learned that his pharmaceutical company, a major player on the world stage, was effectively controlled by Free the Soul. More specifically, I suppose H was a member of Free the Soul, and very committed to their cause. Really? Ace. I can't remember how to pronounce his name, unfortunately, but H is... It starts with H, right? Huang Zhou? No, I don't know, I can't remember. So why had he kidnapped all those children? Apparently, it had been part of an experiment designed to test the ability of certain people to access what's called the morphogenetic field. I don't imagine you've ever heard of it before, so I'll try and give you a quick rundown. Simply put, these people can access a sort of field that allows their consciousness to resonate with the consciousness of certain other people. To be honest, it might be simpler to just call it telepathy. The SOIS had heard of this particular ability before, and had actually used it in a number of investigations, so I wasn't surprised to learn of its existence. I was shocked, however, to learn that these experiments had been carried out by a member of Free the Soul. If that was the case, then Brother must have known about it. The thought of him discovering a way to control and harness that power was terrifying. It wasn't too long after the incident in Nevada that another tip about the Myrmidons crossed my desk. This time it claimed that the Myrmidons intended to launch a large-scale biological terrorist attack. My bosses decided that we needed more agents to deal with a threat of that magnitude, and Clover was recruited. Because she'd been a test subject in H's experiment, we knew she had the ability to access the morphogenetic field, and we wanted to put that ability to use. After several months of training, she was sent on her first mission. She would be tasked with the infiltration and investigation of a Myrmidon cloning lab. I was assigned to be her commanding officer. I hoped that our investigation might also give me a lead on my father's whereabouts. At last, I had a chance to find out what had happened to him. I wouldn't let that chance pass me by. Perhaps that was what kept me from noticing the truth. The whole operation was a trap. The lab was fake, and Clover was captured almost immediately. I got there as fast as I could, but when I arrived, the building was only an empty shell. All of the conspirators who had pretended to be researchers and the like had already fled. I searched frantically for Clover until at last, in a basement room, I found her. She had been tied to a chair, but on the floor next to her was another body. It was my father. So, you finally found him, but he was dead, huh? He looked as if he'd just been dumped there, and when I got to him, his body was already cold. He was covered in dark, ugly bruises. It wasn't until later that I learned he had died from ruptured organs and internal bleeding. They had beaten him to death. As soon as Clover had been captured, a Myrmidon in a mask had come to visit her. He said that unless she wanted to end up like my father, she would leave them alone and tell her masters at the SOIS to do likewise. In retrospect, they must have known who I was and who my father was. That was why they'd killed him. Perhaps they thought they were sending a message to me, or that once he was gone, I'd lose my reason for chasing them. They were very, very wrong. I took Clover with me and left. I tried to console myself with the fact that I had at least been able to save her. Sometime later, I received a call from the coroner. He told me there was something I needed to see. There in the morgue was my father, cold and pale on a steel table. Was he cloned, and that was just a clone of him? I could barely stand to look at him. But the coroner insisted. On his arm were 2 rows of numbers, comprised of 8s and 9s. It took me a moment to recognize my father's handwriting. He had carved them into his own skin. On his chest was another message, but there were letters this time, not numbers. Not many, just enough to make a short sentence. I love you, Alice. I was going to say, what is to say, two milkmen go comedy? Oh, but wow. He knew that she was going to find him, or I guess he just did that for himself. I broke down crying right there in the morgue. This is, it's an upsetting story. Like, it doesn't give her a reason to be an ass, but you can see why. Yeah, she's been through a lot. They were the first tears I'd shed since the operation had started, and there was no stopping them. There would be no forgiveness. Not for the monsters who'd put my father through this. They'd destroyed my family. I would make them pay, even if I had to die to do it. That night I made a promise to myself. I would avenge my father. It didn't take long to figure out that the numbers he'd written were latitude and longitude. They pointed to a chemical factory that had been disguised as an abandoned building. Further investigation revealed that it was the mother lode we'd been looking for, the headquarters of the Myrmidons. I think my father must have known how things would turn out. Knowing he was going to die, he'd written the directions to our enemy's fortress on his body. He'd sacrificed too much for me to waste this opportunity with recklessness. This time, our operation would succeed. This time, I wouldn't let my excitement put Clover or any of my other agents in danger. So we took our time, we gathered information, we did our research, and we planned. Finally, we were ready. December 25th, 2028 was going to be the day we finally set foot inside the Myrmidon stronghold. But you got kidnapped 3 days before that, right? But then, on the 22nd, only 3 days before the operation was scheduled to begin, a man in a gas mask appeared. And then 3 days later he got me, or she. So you inhaled that gas, passed out and woke up here in the AB room?
Yes. Well, there it is. Everything that's happened with the Myrmidons and me.
Well, that was a lot.
I left a few of the details out, of course, but you get the idea.
Yeah. Thanks. She gave me a sad sort of smile and stood up. Well, now what?
We should go back.
Not yet. Your story explained a lot, but there's still one big question.
Which is?
Who here is a Myrmidon? One of us planted the bombs. And based off the code we found, it's pretty clear that that person is a Myrmidon.
Yes.
Right? And I agree that we need to figure out who they are.
What do you propose we do?
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about. Do you have any clues?
Clues?
What, any marks? Does a Myrmidon tattoo any sort of symbol on their body, maybe?
Well, if I could decrypt that code, it might tell us something, but...
You don't have the cipher. How can we do that?
I told you. We need a key. Without that, it's pointless.
What's a key?
A key is a key. It allows you to sort of unlock a code. Myrmidons usually use this huge string of numbers as a key.
Wait, a long string of numbers? Could that be... This hoodookie. 7815361098838094241990551.
What the hell?
He was convicted of a string of numbers. I was almost as surprised as she was. The numbers had just kind of appeared in my mind, and I was saying them before I knew what I was doing. Alice looked at me incredulously, and I stared back.
Where did... Wait.
I'm not a Myrmidon, I swear!
Can you say that again?
7815361098838094241990551.
That's 198,449,351 to the third power.
You weren't kidding when you said you were good at math. What?
That number you just told me. Prime factor decomposition on that number gets you 198,449,351 to the third power.
Yes, I'm just nodding my head as you said that gigantic number. You're talking about reducing an integer to a series of prime numbers that you multiply together to get it, right? Yep. Like, if you have 30, then you'd get 2 times 3 times 5, right?
Exactly. You probably learned that in junior high, right?
Yeah. Junior high. I learned it in elementary, Alice. Jeez, these kiddos. So you're saying that 198,449,351 is a prime. And if you multiply it by itself 3 times, you'd get 7815361098838094241990551.
Yes.
Well, that case closed, guys. We've figured out math.